To this week's stream. My name is Aurélien. We'll be looking at the activity in the Fedora project last week, which is pretty intense because it was release week. We got Fedora 44 out of the doors. That's pretty cool, and I have this script app, however you call it, that generates a summary of the activity over the week, and we're going to review the output of that app. And because there's always fixes to make, like some small things that need to be improved, but it's going to be an opportunity for us to review the activity directly. So let's go. Where did I put that link? It's right here. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Is that it? No, just a second. Almost there. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see what's going on. Good. All right, that's the output. So if you have questions alongside all this, feel free to ask them in the chat. Always happy to talk with people in the community, so that's really cool. And in the meantime, let's look at this. All right, so what did it come up with? With the successful release of Fedora Linux 44, yay, the primary focus for many groups shifted to post-release activities, of course, and planning for the upcoming Fedora 45 development cycle. It never stops. A significant amount of work centered on discussing future system-wide changes, with proposals to fully versioned libgit 2 packages and build 8664 v3 packages, sparking conversations across FESCO, packaging committee, and other SIGs. A major strategic discussion also emerged across the Council server and Mindshare teams regarding the future of virtualization in the Fedora ecosystem. Yeah, let me finish that. Questioning if a simpler integrated platform is needed to fill a gap for users seeking VMware alternatives. That's pretty interesting, actually. I had totally missed these conversations, so I'm happy to have a look at that today. Other common activities included routine package maintenance, updating infrastructure to the new release, and improving processes for bug triage and dependency management. All right, that's it. So if there's only a paragraph that you need to remember for what happened last week, this would be it. So, announcements. This week's major news in the official release of Fedora 44. Yeah, this is a link to the announced list. That's good. The release announcement, and that's going to be a link, that's a link to Fedora magazine, pretty cool, highlights numerous updates across the distribution. Fedora 44, Fedora Workstation 44, that's the article about Fedora Workstation, ships with the latest GNOME 50 in Fedora KDE Plasma Desktop 44, that's a link to Fedora magazine, pretty cool. Features Plasma 6 sticks, along with a new, more integrated setup experience. In other news, experimental sealed bootable container images for Fedora Atomic are now available for testing, aiming to provide a fully verified and more secure boot chain. Looking ahead, a change proposal for Fedora 45 suggests providing only fully versioned libgit 2 packages to improve dependency management and avoid breakages from ABI changes. Additionally, a new community discussion has started around the practice of throwing random arguments at system binaries. What's that? To find bugs. What is this thing? So, okay. Why would anyone do this? That's a very good question. Thanks for answering up front. All right, yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's a new sort of fuzzing, a new kind of fuzzing. That's pretty cool. Nice. Interesting. All right. The author shared a script that found reproducible crashes in core components like Grub2 and Perl. Okay, impressive. And is seeking feedback on whether filing bug reports for such edge cases is helpful or just creates noise for developers, which is a fair question, I must say. All right, let's go with Council. So the Council activity this week centered around a new forum discussion initiated by Nutax titled, "Is there a missing simple virtualization platform layer for Fedora Red Hat ecosystem?" The post reflects on the current virtualization landscape, especially following the Broadcom acquisition of VMware, and questions whether there is a gap in the Fedora Red Hat offering. The author suggested a need for a user-friendly integrated virtualization platform like Proxmox VE, that is simpler than OpenShift. Well, do you really have like the long dashes? Are there no spaces around it? I think there should be spaces, but on the other hand, well, in French, I would put spaces around that, but in English, I don't know. Anyway, but more cohesive than assembling individual components like KVM, libvirt, and cockpit. Okay. This topic opens a strategic conversation about the future of virtualization within the ecosystem, particularly for users in small organizations, labs, or home environments who may not require a full Kubernetes-based solution. Yeah, I have been in this situation actually. There's some things that I need to run, and I don't really want to install OpenShift. That's just too big for my use case. The discussion invites community members and contributors to share their insights on whether this gap is intentional, if there are ongoing efforts to address it, and what the long-term direction for virtualization in Fedora should be. This is a key opportunity for community engagement on a topic with broad relevance. All right, well, if people want to engage with this topic, go ahead. All right, FESCO now. During the weekly FESCO meeting, seems like it's the right one, the committee approved the change to clarify how Fedora's release end-of-life date is calculated, tying it to the schedule of the release 2 versions ahead to make it more predictable. A significant discussion was held regarding the Fedora GNOME Teams Bugzilla autoresponder, okay, currently states that the bugs are not actively monitored, okay. Yeah, I remember that one. FESCO decided to soften the message by removing the most direct sentence, though the underlying issue of bug triage remains, of course. The committee will invite the Workstation Working Group to a future meeting to discuss a better long-term solution. Other topics included the ongoing lack of S390X build resources, which is being discussed at a higher level, and the need to finally implement a 2-year-old decision to repair corrupted Git repositories. Cool. A new change proposal for Fedora 45 was announced. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that one already. Nice. Yeah. And complexity of managing multiple devel packages, but the proposer argued this approach. Okay, cool. So decisions. The policy was clarified. Well done. It is ticket 3597. Good. Autoresponder, ticket is 3568. Okay, ticket 2966. Oh yeah, that's a long time ago, 2966. Okay, and 3983. That's the one. Okay, good. All right, so far so good. Let's go to the packaging committee. So they had one meeting last week, focusing on repository migration and major system-wide change proposal. Okay, they decided how to handle the obsolete package guidelines repository on Pagure. Okay. Okay, discussing the F45 change proposal for the x86-64v3. Okay. 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 The group began discussing a pull request to improve documentation on version symbols. Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, so the committee approved the merging a pull request to remove all content from old Pagure repository, leaving only a README file that directs contributor to the new repository in Fedora Forge. Nice. Mindshare now. So a new discussion began on Fedora forum concerning the virtualization strategy within the Fedora. Yeah, I talked about that already. Yep, it's discussed. It's shared with the Mindshare group. But it's something that we talked about. So I don't want to deduplicate the content here, even though there are duplicates. And the reason for that is that if you are part of the Mindshare group and you missed, last week's activity because you were off on holiday, for example, I want you to be able to go to This Week in Fedora, go directly to the Mindshare group and see everything that you missed. So if I remove this from the Mindshare group, then you will not see it if you're only looking at Mindshare. I don't want to force people to read the entire article. I want the groups to be self-sufficient, basically. So I'm leaving that here, even though we already talked about that. Okay, Workstation GNOME now. So the Workstation Working Group made several decisions on their meeting on April 28. Okay. A proposal to enable a filtered subset of FlatHub by default. Okay. Automate upstream data updates. Okay. To prevent apps from disappearing in GNOME software. In response to user feedback on confusing keyboard layout selection in the new installer, developer has been assigned to address the issue with technical changes noted for further investigation. Community engagement opportunities include continuing tested for the restored GNOME Google Drive integration in GNOME. Okay, cool. Developer introduced a new project, Ktai Linux. A desktop pet application with optional AI feature. Interesting. So during the workstation meeting on April 28th, so that's the link that we already had above, right? Yeah. Oh, okay, that's the list posted. That's a link to the meeting minutes posted to the list, apparently. Okay, that works too. GNOME Turing daemon, okay. 007 daemon. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to investigate what this 007 daemon name is fun. Like 007, like James Bond. That's cool. And they want to remove a BRT. Yeah, it's unmaintained. Okay. All right. KDE now. A discussion was held regarding the status of KDE Gear 2604 on Fedora 43. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's blocked because of a new version of GPGME. Okay. Yeah, I remember that discussion was active last week as well. Okay. So the decision is that KDE Gear 2604 will not be released for Fedora 43, and they will need to upgrade to a newer Fedora release, which just happened. So it should be fine. Server. So they had their weekly meeting, the server working group. I shouldn't work working group here. Yeah. So how do I edit this? Easy. I go to this. I bring up the file, the most recent one, which is this one. And I can go to, what was it? Server. The server working group. Save it. Huh. Well. Yeah, that should be better. Oh, it did not. Did I save it? Yes, I saved it. I thought I had I thought the watches, it was watching. Yeah, sorry. I'm not gonna show that now. Apps this week in Fedora, make watch build. That should have been updated. I did save it, right? Server working group. Oh, okay. It should have rebuilt now. Error. Oh, yes, my bad. Weeks back equal 1. And save it. Ah, no, that works. Okay, cool. Cool. So if I reload this page, yes, server working group. Okay, held its weekly meeting to discuss the recent Fedora 44 release and plan for further work. Okay, formalizing the group's Ansible support strategy. Interesting. Okay, creating a playbook to automate post-installation tasks. Nice. A beginner's guide to Fedora server. Okay. Contributor installs Ansible and documentation are encouraged to join these efforts. Okay, cool. A new forum discussion was started to explore the Fedora ecosystem is being. Yeah, that's the virtualization platform. Okay, cool. Okay, Sensible Support Project Wiki. Nice. And the planned beginner's guide to Fedora server will initially target home labs and observer users. Nice. Infra now. So with the successful release of Fedora 44, the infrastructure freeze has ended. The team is now focused on post-release activities, including working through a backlog of pending changes and planning upgrades for builders and the wiki to the new Fedora version. Yep. In the daily stand-ups, so this one is about, it's 27th, discussions covered ongoing issues with scrapers targeting services like the wiki and ID fedoraproject.org, leading to the idea of protecting them with an abuse prevention system. A need was also identified to better track the operating system versions of containers running on OpenShift. Yes, to ensure they are up to date. Yes, I agree with that. I have thought about a script to do that, but honestly, it's not very simple. So during the weekly infrastructure meeting, the team discussed modernizing the request for resources process and documentation for new services, creating an opportunity for contributors to help. Another significant topic was improving the procedure for handling user complaints about mirrors. The team plans to establish a standard operating procedure and develop a diagnostic script for users to provide consistent data when reporting issues. Okay. On the forums, okay. A new discussion, okay, began about supporting automation use casing with fast authentication, proposing the auth to authorization grant as a potential solution. Okay. Temporary RAM, okay. What's details here? Yeah, that won't work. Okay, that's in the 28th. Okay, that's a link to the 28th. So let me get a better details link here. Yeah, let me get a better details link here. So let's talk about RAM. What's that? RAM. Okay. Oh, there's no ticket to it. Well, then it's not that bad, I suppose. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, we can leave it here. Do I have a link to this line? That would be even better. I don't think so. What was the link? No, it didn't give a link. Okay. Should probably improve that at some point, but well. So in ticket 13290, okay, 13298, yeah, and 1329236. Okay, what's the details here? Okay, I'm going to remove the details because this link already exists. That's going to be in daily stand-ups here. And I can't point to a particular line in the log file, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is. So I'm going to remove the link, the details link here, except this one. This one's relevant. Or should I? Yeah, I mean, I can leave it there. Okay, so release engineering. So they held a brief meeting to confirm the status of the upcoming Fedora release. Okay, stage is done. Torrents have been creating a pending seeding. Minor race condition in the F44 testing compose that is being discussed. Okay, all right. Well, that's not a very interesting decision to publicize, so I'm going to remove that. Okay, so quality now. The main focus was successful sign-off for Fedora 44. Of course it was. In the weekly meeting, plans were discussed for the upcoming Fedora 45 cycle. Yeah, it never stops really. Including project of migrating blocker bugs. Okay. Was interesting. Kernel 7 test week. Currently running until May 1 and Podman 6, May 1, that's over, unfortunately. And Podman 6 takes days at Ton is scheduled for May 11, 15th. Okay. Community members can also track the team via the public agile sprint on Forjo. Okay. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. It was agreed to revive the practice of collecting and publishing contribution statistics. Okay. All right, websites and app now. Discussion center on the future of virtualization, blah, 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 yep. Also Kata Linux, I already talked about that one. Let's skip. Oh, wait, what? A minor short-lived issue where the get.fedora.org website displayed an outdated version number. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Docs. So they discussed the challenge, the docs, it's a doc sig? I guess it's a doc sig. Let's call it properly. Discuss challenges and policies around documenting NVIDIA driver installation. Okay. A topic on potential legal issues. Explore why adding CLI instructions for installing driver for Apple Fusion to the official beginner's guide is not permitted. Yeah, you bet. Contributors pointed out the need for clear official guidance to help new users encounter the many questionable guides available online. We argued that the Apple Fusion method provides a superior user experience compared to NVIDIA's official repositories, which are often not user-friendly and can be slow to update for new Fedora releases. Okay, the core discussion is tension between providing the best possible instruction for users and adhering to Fedora's legal policy regarding third-party software. Yep, that's a real complex issue to handle. So INTN, the internationalization team's weekly meeting. And that's the one. That seems to be the one. Internal preparations, okay. They reviewed the status of release notes for F44 changes, okay. And bug triaging for Fedora 42, okay. So Johnny Lin introduced himself with the goal of starting, okay. Nice. Okay. Apple. The Apple Group's weekly meeting focused on administrative tasks, okay. So they are preparing for the steering committee elections. Okay. Diego Herrera has his mission to run. Very good guy, Diego. Are you in the log? Are you in the chat right now, Diego? Offering new engagement opportunity for the community. And the group also discussed the impending retirement of Apple 10.1, which coincides with the release of RHEL 10.2. So the announcements were set to the developer mailing list. Yes, that's the right link. To remind packages to push any pending updates to stable before the deadline. Okay, cool. So Espresso package maintenance announced retirement for Apple 8. Okay. And ticket for the Fedora design team. Nice. Yep. Okay, cool. So let's go to Elon now. So they had a meeting which was cancelled after. Okay. 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 Well, I'm just going to remove this section. That's not really useful. Elon. All right, let's get to Atomic now. So, the Atomic Group's meeting. Yep, that's the one. Follow the successful release of Fedora 44. Okay. Okay. Security. And Relange. Issue trackers. Okay, cool. The request for enhancements was filed. That seems correct. Another discussion about installing Kino 844 on older hardware. Okay, yep, sorry about that. Okay. Unified kernel images. Okay. Work item 48. Not completed for the Fedora 44 release. The next release cycle. Okay, cool. CoreOS now. They focused on the recent release of Fedora 44, of course. Tasting stream has been rebased to Fedora 44. Announcement was sent out. Automatic Podman database migration to SQLite. Separate security announcement informed users that a fix for the copy for Linux kernel flow is now available in all streams. Okay, nice. That was fast. Main topic, future of systemd oomd and swap on the RAM. Okay. Potentially upon Kubernetes workload, a decision was made to postpone the change. Okay, change proposals. Okay, which will include documentation on best practices for Kubernetes users. A community member has volunteered to lead this effort. Well done. Okay, the accidental enablement of systemd oomd will be reverted for current releases. All right, good. IoT now. The IoT working group, let's call it a working group, please. Atomic, is that a SIG or a working group? I'm always confused. Okay, so they celebrated the release of Fedora 44 in their meeting. Discussion centered on post-release tasks. Daily composes for Fedora 44. Okay, will be re-enabled. The team also identified the need to review and update the getting started documentation. Yes. Yes. And fixed an issue with the Fedora IoT inspection script. Okay. Okay, cool. AI and ML. The main activity for the AI and ML group this week centered on the effort. Is it the group? No, that's a SIG. Ongoing effort to add NPU support to Fedora. Okay. Significant progress update was shared indicating, okay, OpenVINO, NPU compiler latest, okay. Okay, the relevant pull requests have already been upstreamed, marking a concrete step towards the goal of enabling NPU support in a future Fedora release. RISC-V. During their weekly RISC-V meeting, RISC-V meeting, the team discussed the ongoing F44 rebuild. Okay, wow. 14,000 packages at a rate of 300, 700 per day. Okay. Significant will require building the entire distribution twice. Okay, the team decided to monitor the progress of the x86 proposal to see if it provides a viable path forward before making any commitments. Security. The security team's weekly meeting centered around recent kernel CV. I wonder which one. Yes, confirming that Fedora has already shipped the fix weeks before the public disclosure due to existing kernel policies. Nice. The group also noted, is that true? We had fixes out before yesterday's publicity grab and a week before the original public disclosure of the CVE. Upstream kernel policies mixed with Fedora kernel policy pretty much ensures it is always the case. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, the group noted a minor security fix in OpenShift and ongoing discussion in ticket 6. No formal decisions were made. I can remove that. That's because I explicitly asked the AI to report decisions, but the LLM, I should say. In the forum, a new report was shared detailed findings from static analyzer and Fedora 45 critical path packages. Wow, 419 new findings. Nice. Perl. Oh, Perl group. Okay. In the Perl SIG, I suppose. I think it's secure. Yeah, it's fine. Team is fine. Several pull requests were open and merged various Perl modules to the latest version. Okay. Yeah, that's the classic. No significant discussions or debates. I can remove that part. We don't really care. Okay. Python. A new version of PyProject RPM macros was announced. That's on Python Devel. Okay. Okay. No, validates extra. Okay. Fail. This build with found Fedora more higher than 45 and higher than 11 if an invalid extra is specified. Okay. Well, that's always good to have more security against typos, for example. Rust. In the Rust group, a call for maintainers was yes. Several commands were orphaned. Okay. Other discussions. So mentor, summit, lunch and learn at Fedora Flock. Yeah. Okay. A user requested missing preview for FreeCAD files in the Dolphin file manager. Okay. Let me remove the new lines in between those because that's annoying. Okay. I guess that's more KDE specific, but it was sent to, what was it sent to? Engineering, yeah, so that makes sense. Anyway, package, checksum mismatch, diffuse package, that's on discussion again. Okay. Potential complete removal, okay. Yeah, let's remove that. Okay, a thread was started to find people interested in building internal kernels of pre-built binary kernel to improve the user experience out of 3 drivers like NVIDIA's. The original poster has developed an AWS-based infrastructure for securely building and signing code. Okay. Okay, okay, that's an interesting discussion to have. That's for engineering. Yeah, I'll look at that later. So an announcement was made for that a fix to the copy file kernel security flow has been rolled out to Fedora CoreOS stable testing and next streams. Okay. Well, I had that in the CoreOS section already. So I'm going to remove that one because if you're interested in CoreOS, you might go look at the CoreOS section. So that makes sense to have it there. The CoreOS people announced that the testing stream has been rebased. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had that in the CoreOS section as well, so I'm going to remove it. Report for Open Scan Hub, new findings, static analysis. Okay. Okay. I kind of seen that 104 and 19. That in security? Yeah. I'm going to keep it here for now. Because it's, I mean, security isn't, like the security team, you may not go to look at the security team activity and you might want to know that. So I'll keep it. Okay, switch to fully version libgit2 packages. We've talked about that one many times already, so I'm going to remove it. So now there's something called Fedora Active User, creating and submitting for review, non-responding material process. Okay, nice. Okay, other topics include the official Go decision for Fedora. Oh yeah, well, that's not really a new thing. Include the SSSD's project's move to GitHub for his announcements. Okay. A request for LACP. Okay, libteam. Num SRPM macros package. Okay. End of life plan for .NET 8 and 9. Okay. Continue discussion on contributor reason for filing the Apple packages. Yeah. Yeah, we had that, I think, last week. User suggestions for new Fedora features. Okay. Resolving the stuck F44 testing compose. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's kind of not something that's really temporary. I'm not sure that's really useful. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that one. It's not very useful. Sorry. Where is it? Ah, yeah, resolving the stack F44. That's where it is. Okay. A query about, where is it? A query about stalled new review. Okay, new package review. That makes sense. Mesa update for Asahi. Fine. New pipe project. Yeah, this one we already talked about. The announcement of the new Pi project patch dependency, we talked about that in the Python group. Okay, the adoption of the orphan GTK2 package. Okay. Bring Project Hummingbird into Fedora. Volume of automated email developers. Okay, so who else? Luigi Ipavan. Okay. As part of his work on the Flatpak ecosystem at Red Hat, Aaron Chan posted, okay, looking for sponsor chicken packager group access to contribute to Intel and PU driver. Update to LHTPD, okay. Okay. US, okay. See the best time to, okay. Okay. Learning OpenSSL 4 in Fedora. Okay. Orphaning packages. Okay. Weekly package. Orphan package reports. Okay. Pantheon desktop environment. Okay, I've been orphaned. Yep. Well, I should probably put that one above the other one. Where is it? Orphan packages. Yeah. Raspberry CLI tool were found. Results. Oh, okay. Okay, that's shorter. All right, I think we're good. How does it look? Yeah, I think we have a new edition. The link seemed correct, and yeah, so I'm now aggregating data from more stuff. I'm aggregating data from the Fedora magazine as well for the announcements, which wasn't there before. So yeah, that's new data that I can bring into the fold. All right, let me upload it. It's up. So if I go to this week in Fedora, well, it's a bombard of Fedora people tweet. And yep, it's up. April 27th to May 03. To May 03. Okay, I think we have a new edition now. So I'll announce it to the relevant spaces, and I'm going to read that because that's interesting. And I hope you enjoyed reviewing all that stuff. And if so, please tell me so I know how I can adjust the script, what you are interested in learning about the Fedora activity, the activity in Fedora, and in which direction you would want it to go. And thanks for passing by. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.